Okay, today's video is going to be Instant Pot fried rice, eggs, frozen veggies, jasmine rice, Alex, jasmine rice, green onions, peanut oil. Okay, the recipe calls for 2 cups. I'm going to use 2.5 because I like a little more rice. Now I'm going to add 2.5 teaspoons of peanut oil. So if you're following the recipe and only doing 2 cups, you will use 2 teaspoons of peanut oil. Okay, so in this recipe, you're going to use 1 teaspoon of peanut oil per 1 cup of rice at this step. So I have 2.5 cups of rice, 2.5 teaspoons of peanut oil, and now I am going to mix this until the rice is well coated. Now you can see the rice is well coated with the peanut oil. At this time, I'm going to add water to this rice. For 2 cups of rice, you would add 1 3/4 cups of water, and you want to make sure the water has coverage over the rice. I use just a little over 2 cups of water for my 2.5 cups of rice. You just want to have it covered. You don't want too much water or it'll get soggy. I now am going to put 1 cup of water into my Instant Pot. 1 cup of water. I have my pot in our lovely silicone sleeve. I close my lid. I close my vent. This is where I completely deviate from the recipe that Amy and Jackie have. As far as I'm concerned, you can't have enough eggs. So I'm going to put in 6 eggs. You could add 8 eggs. You could do the 2 eggs the recipe calls for. But I like a lot of eggs. So I am going to now go ahead and stir these up and scramble them so they are ready for later in the recipe. So my eggs are now scrambled and they're just going to hang out now. I've kept my bowl because we're going to be putting eggs in there too for another step. Now the recipe only calls for a couple green onions. I add a whole bunch and I use poultry scissors to cut them. So I'm going to go ahead and have these cut up again while I'm waiting for my rice to cook. So there is 1 whole bunch of scallions cut up. And now I'm going to go ahead and get my eggs ready that I'll be coating the rice in. So once our rice is cooked, we're going to be coating it in eggs. I've got 3 eggs in here, and I like to use 1 egg at least per cup. These are medium-sized eggs. I might add an extra egg if I don't think I have enough to coat them. Okay, so I've got my whole thing of mixed veggies, and I've cut it open, and I'm just going to defrost them a little bit. So I'm going to do a minute at a time. Probably shouldn't take more than a minute, minute and a half to defrost. I just want them not cold. We'll be using these later. I decided I was going to need more eggs, so I now have 4 eggs. And there'll be a step where I use them all. So my veggies are thawed out. Again, I completely vary from the written recipe. We like lots of veggies, lots of eggs in our rice. You can use as much as you like. Okay, so we have cooked for our 8 minutes, and now we're going to do a 10-minute natural release. So we're going to wait till this clocks back up to 10. I'm going to keep warm light is on. Oh, it's flickering. And it's going to count up to 10. We are at 10 minutes. Time to release. Hardly any steam. So I've removed my lid. I'm going to turn the pressure cooker off. Okay, by hitting cancel. And now I'm going to take my rice out. This is where I love the little sling. There we go. Okay, at this time, you can rinse the rice if you want to, or drain any excess water. This looks pretty good. I'm putting it right into the egg wash. Okay, you can see 2.5 cups is a lot of rice. Now, while it's hot, it's really important we get it while it's hot. We are going to coat it with that egg mix. See how it's turning yellow? Okay, you can see it's nicely coated. And I folded it. I didn't smush it because I want to keep my rice kernels intact. Now I'm going to take this water out of the Instant Pot and dry the inside out. Now that I've dried out my pot, I'm going to hit saute more. And we're going to wait till that pot says hot. And then I have put my pot on saute. And once it says hot, I'm going to add my 2 tablespoons of peanut oil. Because I used an extra 1/2 cup of rice, I'll put in 3 tablespoons. Okay, we are hot. I'm going to add the peanut oil. And since the peanut oil comes in such a big bottle, I go ahead and measure it out into a cup so I don't spill it everywhere. Okay, there we go. I'm going to add in my rice now. Okay, at this time, I'm going to let the rice cook for 1 minute, and then I'll give it a quick stir. I will repeat that process 5 times. Again, I'm going to leave the rice alone for 1 minute. I will give it a quick stir, and then I'll do another minute and a stir for a total of 5 times. Alexa, start a time. So I'm on my 4th time, and you can see a little brown on that rice. So at this time, I'm going to add just a tiny bit of salt and pepper to taste. Do not go crazy. You can always add more. I just like to get it mixed through at this point. Okay, so I have a little salt and pepper on it. I'm going to give it the last stir for the last minute of this process. Okay, now I take my mixed veggies, pour them all in. They're still a little frozen, but they're mostly thawed out. That, I'm going to stir them in. And I'm just going to let them sit for a little bit. Stir them through the rice so they get equally warmed up. And because I've gone ahead and thoroughly scrambled my eggs, my next step will be for me to add in my green onions. I'm also going to take a little taste and see where I'm at with the seasoning right now. So I'm happy with where I have it seasoned. Once I spoon it out, I add what I think I need. I'll add white pepper to my rice on an individual basis. Now the green onions go in. Just stir those through till they get soft. Doesn't take long. I went ahead and hit cancel. I'm just letting the green onions percolate a little bit. It's plenty hot in there. I'm going to give it another stir or two, and then I'm going to add the eggs. Here's my lovely scrambled eggs. I broke them apart a little bit more with my spatula. They're going in. Best part as far as I'm concerned. And those are going to get stirred on in. And your rice is ready to eat.